All right, Ethan Skolnick here for the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Obviously, check out all the content in our network starting at 5reasonsports.com. Make sure you spell it out and all of our podcasts. New episode of 5 on the Floor is going up overnight. We talked a little Miami Heat. Well, we didn't talk Miami Heat. We talked Miami Heat history, so check that out. We're picking our all-time Miami Heat teams, and Alphonse Sidney went totally off the board. So you got to check that out. Obviously, check out 3 Yards Per Carry is dropping a new episode tonight, and the latest episode of 5 Rings Canes came out on Friday. All right. Today, we're going to talk more Dolphins. I've got Louis Sung. I've got Jakari Givens. Both of you have become regulars on this program, but I don't believe – have you been on at the same time? I'm trying to remember. No.
This is the first time.
All right. This is the first time. So this is a heavyweight battle here. These are 2 of our regulars. No Eversole, no Friedman, none of those schleps. We've got the 2 of these guys on today. All right, here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get into the Dolphins and their needs in the draft. In particular, I'm going to start with this debate that we always have, which is, do you go for need or do you go for best available player? I always come down on best available player. To me, get the best guy and figure out the roster afterwards. And to me, this applies in any league, NBA, NFL, etc. I always go back to the NBA example. People didn't want the Heat taking Dwayne Wade because they had Eddie Jones at the 2 spot. Take the best player. Figure it out later. Make it fit. The Dolphins have so many picks that I feel like they can do both during this draft. And they also address enough needs in free agency that probably gives them more flexibility. I'm going to start here with Louis. If you take a look at the first round, obviously quarterback is a huge need. So we're going to always skip past that. Let's assume the Dolphins get their quarterback at 5 or above, okay? That they either move up to get Tua, Burrow, whatever. They take Herbert, God forbid, or whatever it is that they do there at the 5 spot, okay? They've addressed their quarterback position. We have to go with some kind of premise like that. What do you do next? If are you just looking for the best available player, or do they need to get an offensive lineman? Do they need to get a running back? Do they need to get another defensive lineman, even though they padded out that unit a little bit?
All right. This is precisely the reason why I always say that the Dolphins should stand pat at 5, is because they have positions of need all over the place, and they have a unique opportunity to fill it up with elite level talent in the first round. So let's just assume that best case scenario happens and Tua falls all the way to 5 and the Dolphins can get him, no strings attached. Boom, done with that. So now we have the 18th pick, and this is where the discussion gets interesting. Best player available, or you draft for need. Now, again, the Dolphins have a unique situation here where they pretty much all the positions, aside from now quarterback and, of course, positions like wide receiver, those are all positions of need now. So whether you're talking an offensive tackle, or whether you're talking about a pass rusher, or whether you're talking about another safety to kind of give the Dolphins a little more oomph in that back end of the secondary, because all due respect to Bobby McCain and Eric Rowe, they don't exactly inspire fear in the eyes of quarterbacks. You know what I mean? So, and this is where the discussion comes in. Let's say we go all the way down to 18 and we have the likes of, let's say, Andrew Thomas and AJ Epinesa. Let's say they're both on the board. Well, who do you end up picking? Because you can only pick one of them. So, and that's where I decide, okay, so what is it that the Dolphins have addressed the least? And in that regard, I would have to say that the offensive tackle is going to be more of a priority than the pass rusher. Both players are very good players, very, very good prospects. But which one is there less of? Which one do the Dolphins need more of? Arguably, there are more potential offensive tackles than there are pass rushers in this upcoming draft. However, the very fact that you need top level talent at offensive tackle means that, do you run the risk of going for a high potential guy or somebody you know for sure can play? Knowing what the Dolphins are doing and knowing what the Dolphins need to do for the future, I'm going with Andrew Thomas, and they've already gotten Shaq Lawson and Emmanuel Ogbon free agency. So I would go Andrew Thomas over AJ Epinesa. They're both really good players, but which one do you need more, and which one does the drop off begin the quickest?
Jakari, what would you do? You have a choice of those 2 players on that spot. Who do you take?
All right. I'm taking Thomas too, just because you can put him at different positions. If he doesn't work out at offensive tackle, you can move him into guard because he's a safe pick. But I will say, Louis, to say that Eric Rowe didn't play well in the back half of the season, he played very well in the back half of the season. So you have to give him credit.
Hold on. Don't misconstrue my words. I didn't say he didn't play well. I just said he doesn't strike fear in the eyes of quarterbacks. He's not Ed Reed or that guy. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not too many Ed Reeds playing safety in the NFL. But
that's true.
For what Eric Rowe was asked to do in the later parts of the season, erasing the tight ends, taking the slot receivers and tight ends out of the game, running backs, he did take them out of the game. But to go back to the draft, I'm a person of take best on board. So if Thomas is there, you take him. I've seen some mocks got Jerry Jeudy falling to 18. You take him. You take the best player on board. But I think I would go with Andrew Thomas because I think he's going to fall to 18 because I think guys are going to be more in love with Becton and Wirfs from Iowa. I think they'll be more in love with him. But Andrew Thomas, to me, is a safe prospect because if he doesn't hit off at old tackle, you can slide him right in the guard, and I think he'll be an all-pro at guard.
You mentioned Jeudy. Let's look at the positions that the Dolphins currently have stacked. I'm always a best available player guy, as I say. Except, isn't that the one position right now on the Dolphins that there is no help necessary, or do you add to his strength? I mean, at this point, if Preston Williams is going to be healthy, Jakari, and the breakout season Devontae Parker had, and they bring in Albert Wilson back, and they've got Jakeem Grant back, that's four. I mean, that we're just starting with right there. I mean, did they really need I love Jeudy, but did they really? I love them all, but do you really need another wideout?
So my viewpoint on this, Jerry Jeudy right now would be better than Parker and Williams. Jerry Jeudy gives the Dolphins that receiver that we know going to always be open because Jerry Jeudy gets open. It's not a time I haven't really seen his film, like from watching this film, that he ain't never open. He's always open. But I think Parker and Williams kind of offset each other. They're both jump ball receivers and stuff like that. To me, to add Jerry Jeudy to that, you can never have too many weapons. We just watched the Kansas City Chiefs. They got three great receivers now. Watkins, Hill, Robertson contribute. Kelsey contributes as a receiver. So you can never have too many weapons. It's just up to your offensive coordinator to put it together at that point. But why not have three good receivers out there? Because that opens up the game for everybody involved. And you were bringing in a new quarterback. Assuming we get to a Jordan Love, Hubert, a quarterback can never have too many weapons.
All right, let's look at the running back spot then, Lewis. I'm going to let you respond on the receiver point. But at the running back spot, they went out and made one acquisition. They were kind of in on a couple other guys. I mean, there was some interest there. I don't know how serious it was, but our 3 yards per carry guys had reported interest in Gurley, and also in Gordon. So there was some interest there in another back. Let's put J.K. Dobbins. Let's put Dobbins there at 18. Does that interest you?
Okay, so first I want to address a comment that was just made. Do you think Tua will be a Dolphin? Yes, I think he will. The how of it, I don't know yet, but I think he will. Anyway, back to the running back position. Now, again, this is where I talk about when does the drop-off begin and how fast. There are a lot of guys who are going to be available in rounds 2 and 3. And mind you, I wanted DeAndre Swift with the 26th pick. So let's just I put that in my offseason plan, which you can find on 5 Reasons Sports Network. Now, here's the problem, though. Running back, again, is going to not have as much of a drop-off later down the line. But after the first 3, there is a drop-off, but it's not quite as dramatic.
I disagree with you there because I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a great back, and Cam
Even better. That's what I'm talking about. When does the drop off happen? And since if the situation is like you say it is, Jakar, and there is no drop off really, then where's the issue? Where's the urgency to get one of those guys? I want DeAndre Swift. That's who I want. I don't think the Dolphins are going to get him because, again, they have needs at other positions, and that's why I always talk about where is the drop-off. If you can get a Cam Akers or a Edwards-Helaire or one of those guys, then you don't really need to force the running back pick so quickly. And so you can afford to get, with number 18, your offensive tackle, and then at number 26, let's say you have a Xavier McKinney available, or maybe you can double up on offensive tackle, like got to get a Josh Jones there, or maybe somewhere down the line, you can, like in the second round, you can you can go ahead and grab like Prince Tega Wanago or someone like that. So, and some mock drafts have Epinesa dropping the 26. So then you could go and get your pass rusher. and you can go get your running back later. Again, you watch where that drop-off happens. That's what's very important.
The only thing I can say is, though, the Dolphins scheme right now, pass rushers are not going to be that valuable in that scheme because they're not going to be relying on getting sacked.
does both.
So I'm looking at the signings though. Kyle Van Noy is not a big sack guy. Ogba was not a big sack guy. Like, we didn't have that many sacks. The Dolphins scheme more is create pressure, force the back end to win, and man coverage. So I personally think that offensive tackle at 18 and 26 is great, but I do think that the Dolphins should address the safety need. I like McKinney. I seen some mocks got Delpit dropping to the second round, who I think would probably be a great player. So I'm with you on that they do need to address the safety room, but the pass rusher is not that big of a deal to me because of how the Dolphins scheme is. They're not really a big get pressure with pass rushers because
let's flip that to the offensive side and let's close here, guys. So Chan Gailey is the offensive coordinator. And people remember Chan from year 2000. I mean, literally, we're going back. So their last playoff win with Lamar Smith carrying for 209 yards, right? Chan has a certain signature on his offenses, which has been written about on our site. Are we underestimating the fact that they may want another back? I mean, Chan has always kind of played through the backfield, quite a bit. That he may want another workhorse, and maybe Jordan Howard's not it. He's more of the insurance guy there.
Well, I'm a guy that thinks running backs still have value in this league. I'm not one of those guys that's like, you can go get a running back out of cloud of dust or no. Like, you can get marginal to good back, yes, you can find. But the Saquon Barkleys of the world, Christian McCaffreys, you cannot find those guys later in the round and stuff like that. So I am of the essence of adding another back. I think they need to add more of a speed back, like a Cam Akers or Anthony McFarland later on in the draft, because they need more of a home run hitter and more of a pass catching back who can win against the linebackers, because Jordan Howard is going to be our power guy. So, yes, I think they're going to add a back because they want to run the football and win, but they have to add more of a dynamic back than a power back.
I agree that they're going to add a running back. The only question that I have is when. And I see someone in the comments here saying, could you see the Finns trading back into the top 10 with all the ammo they have to get a player? Only if they end up getting another first rounder out of it. You know what's better than 3 first-round picks? 4 first-round picks. So, again, in that case, then you would be able to probably grab your quarterback through Jordan Love, let him sit and slow roast for a little bit, and then you can grab your offensive tackle, you can grab your running back, you can grab your pass rusher, which, while I understand the whole scheme point, there does still need, like, even the Patriots still got sacks. Chandler Jones was a Patriot for a while, and he was the sack guy. So they still need to have somebody there who can generate that real pressure. So what I will say is, if you can get into the top 10, let's say you get pick number 10. You can grab someone like Mekhi Becton to take care of the tackle spot. You grab Jordan Love at whatever position you get next. Then you can get Epinesa. You can get your running back in DeAndre Swift. That right there already is more than half of a normal draft, and it was all done in the first round. So
I disagree with you because of this. When it comes to quarterback, that's the most valuable position in sports.
Well, it was only in the sense that if they traded down.
Oh, if they traded down, yes. But I'm of the essence and using the picks you have to get the guy you want. If it's Burrow, you trade up and get him. If it's Tua, you trade up and get him. And I also think the Dolphins should be trying to call the Washington Redskins, hey, what do you want for Trent Williams? Like a disgruntled veteran player who still got some time in us, or a young player who they want, or something like that. They should be calling, because they have enough picks to not waste. But say you trade a second or third round pick for a Trent Williams or Von Miller, a guy in his last contract or something like that. Like, hey, are you gonna get a player better than those guys at this moment? So that's more a developmental thing to me. But I think what the Dolphins are trending, they're looking for more developmental potential guys, because I think Flores wants to develop his guys into his culture, to me.
Yeah, his culture is the big thing. And I got to close here. But, I mean, to me, the biggest thing, this is where I'm with Jakari on this one. To me, the only purpose of picks, they're chips. their chips. I think Dolphin fans are going to get really attached to all these picks. Oh my God, we traded 3 to get 1. At this point, what's gone is gone. What you traded to get these picks, Tunsil, Minka, whatever, it's gone. Like, now you have this stack of chips. Deploy the chips, get the guys you believe in. That's my thing. You have enough to do whatever you want with them. So don't. I mean, the idea of just hoarding them. Yeah. We've seen in various sports, you hoard stuff and you never cash in. I always make these NBA analogies, but Danny Ainge never got Anthony Davis. Okay, he never got Kawhi Leonard. Right, he's still holding on to stuff. When you got the chance, you go for it. All right, Louis Sung, Ja'Cory Givens. I think that was a tie. Fun to be with you guys.
All right, guys, follow me on Twitter, KingJock24.
Louis D. Sung, Ethan J. Skolnick, 5 Reasons Sports.
All right, my guys.